here you can see that the paint has actually delaminated from the old paint. The old paint seems to be in good shape, but the red paint has come off. That's usually because there was some type of dirt or moisture on the paint when this red paint was being applied. And you can see here that the old caulking, where the glass meets the wood, is all bad. That all needs to come out, and a new bead of caulking needs to be put in. And you can see it's all the way bad here. All has to come off. You see this is a bubble. It's actually bubbled open. If you see a bubble, you know that that's where the paint has separated. It's not a bump in the paint, it's a bubble. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our torch and we're going to burn all of this off. Do not keep the torch on the glass. You will crack the glass with the heat. And it's coming off really nice. Now here we have another sill. This sill here won't need to be burned off. The paint is reasonably thin, so we can just scrape that and sand that. And that's what we're going to do here. So we're just going to scrape this now. It's important that you scrape into this little corner here, because wherever you have two pieces of wood meet, you have a 9-degree angle. Water, moisture, snow accumulates in there, and we have to make sure that we remove all of the paint that would have delaminated in there, and it won't just come off naturally. You have to scrape it off. Then we'll use our 50 grit belt sanding paper. Sand that nice and smooth. Don't forget to get in the corners, because just as you have a corner here, you have a corner here at the edge, and that's where rain and snow, water will accumulate, so we want to remove that as well. Now once the whole windowsill has been scraped and sanded, we want to look to see if there's any places that might need to be caulked. You might see something like this, a little gap right here. We should put a little bit of caulking around there. We don't want water to get into here. And this is brown caulking. It doesn't matter what color it is. We're going to paint over it. Now it's time to put some primer on. We're going to put an oil-based primer, a fast-drying oil-based primer. It's important that we get plenty of primer on the lip, because the lip is the thinnest part of the coat of paint naturally. So we want to build it up a little bit if we can. And that windowsill is ready for paint. And as you can see up there, we actually have typical cracking. That's caused by the window settling as the house settles. The steel lentil stays there, and a crack opens up in the caulking. So we're going to have to fill that. The crack goes all the way along the window, and it starts to go down the side a little bit. So that all has to be filled with caulking. Okay, we got a window here that's really bad. You can see that someone's put wood filler here. It's not a good idea to use wood filler outside. As you can see, the paint has really exploded where the wood filler has been put. It's a really bad idea. Wood filler doesn't really work outside. Even if it says exterior, interior, don't use it. You should use epoxy. There really wasn't even much of a need to use wood filler here. There wasn't much rot. Well, it is rotten, but wood filler is not the thing to use. So we're going to have to remove all the bad paint with our torch and our handy dandy scraper. This stuff won't come off just with the scraper alone. We got to torch it off. When you're working with the torch, you got to work quickly. You got to keep moving. You got to keep moving the torch so that you don't start a fire on the wood or start a fire on these paint, because these paint things will flare up very quickly, as you see. So you don't want to be doing that. If you're going to be working your glass, keep it moving. Otherwise, you'll crack the glass. And that would be an expensive mistake. See, if I just use a scraper, it's not going to take off this paint. But if I run the torch over it, it softens it up enough that the scraper does take it off. And if the paint is bad, that's what we want to do.